Welcome to this series called Wilderness Survival Guide. You know, it's important to know what you need in the wilderness in order to survive. You don't want to get caught out in the wilderness and have, a medical emergency if you can at all avoid it. You want to be prepared. When I think about going for a walk in the wilderness, and in my part of the world, the wilderness looks a lot like a ton of trees and streams and mountainous paths to walk. But when I think about that, in order to prepare, I'm in our part of the world, weather can come up on you out of nowhere. So it's good to have a jacket with you. It's also good, just in case you get a little hungry, to have some food. Of course, you need to stay hydrated, so have some water with you. And then also in our part of the world, it's very important to protect yourself from bugs. Also to have sunscreen, things like that. So those are the sort of things that we might take along with us as we prepare for a walk in the wilderness. When we think about the wilderness, like I said, in our part of the world, it's lush trees, rivers, paths. When we talk about the biblical wilderness, when in the Bible it's making reference to the wilderness, it's actually much more like this climbing feature that we have here in this park. It's a desert. That's what the wilderness means in the biblical world. And for a desert, you would definitely have water with you. And of course, when the people found themselves wandering in the wilderness, they relied heavily on God to provide so much of what they needed as they fled, for instance, from Egypt. And the manna from heaven dropped, and Moses was able to strike the rock and produce water. When we are on this journey, this Wilderness Survival Guide is part of this series, we're going to be talking about the practices, the preparations for our heart and our soul that allow us to walk through the wilderness of life. So each week, each lesson, we're going to focus on a different spiritual practice. Many of you will do this series in the course of Lent, and Lent is a season in which deciding on a spiritual practice is a healthy and almost expected part of that season. So we're going to present you with 7 different spiritual practices and encourage you to try them all out. Because what you may find is that one or the other resonates with you a little bit more, or you may find, depending on where you are in your walk or in your journey with God, one fits this season, another one fits the next season. But either way, you will have done the work to prepare for that journey in the wilderness. I want to take a moment and talk about the first of the spiritual practices, which is fasting. When we say the word fasting, a lot of times people think it's giving up food for a certain amount of time. And that is a very traditional understanding of fasting. And it is tied into the season of Lent, because when Jesus went into the wilderness, he fasted and went without food for the 40 days. So it is a deep and profound and regularly practiced spiritual journey that people undergo. And certainly you can do that. And there's a number of ways that you can fast from food. You can take one 24-hour period a week. You can fast during the daylight hours. Always, though, if you're considering that kind of fast, please do so with a discussion with a medical professional to make sure that is something that is safe for you to do. For a lot of people, a fast like that is not safe. For instance, I have friends and parishioners who are diabetic, and it would be catastrophic for them. I also have a parishioner who works for a package delivery company, and because of that, he has an incredibly physically demanding job, and to go without food would be catastrophic for him. So there are other ways of fasting. You can do a digital fast, give up social media for a length of time, or give up your phone except for like business, or even to help those that are in business with you understand that at a certain time of the day, you'll be shutting off your phone as a practice during Lent. There are also any number of other things that people can give up. Probably the one that I have given up that was kind of the most shocking was one year I gave up clocks. And people wonder how you do that. And I will tell you, not easily. It was a time when I was in school. I had to let my professors know that I might be late for class, or I might not show up at all, because I was giving up clocks during that time. But the reason that I did it was because I was so driven by the clock that I was saying things like to my son, who was in elementary school at the time, I have 7 minutes to play with you. And then I spent the entire time that we were together watching the clock for the end of that 7 minutes. And I realized how driven I was by the clock and how it was controlling my life. And it was dividing me from the people that I love and also dividing me from God, because I would allot a certain amount of time for reflection and not just give it the space that it needs. And that's really what fasting is for. When we talk about fasting for God, whatever you are giving up, as you recognize that you have given that thing up, you are to reflect on God in that moment. Be thankful for what God has given you. Be thankful for this new awareness. Be thankful for the things that you're noticing around you because you have given up something. That is the purpose of fasting. So if you are going to undertake a fasting during the season of Lent, may that journey be a blessing for you, and may you find yourself deeply connected with God. And if that's not a spiritual practice that resonates with you, then perhaps one of these others that we share with you will be. We hope that you enjoy this journey through the wilderness as we journey along with it together.